like you are. This is a Clara Luper radio show, and today's show is being brought to you by Rainbow, and Rainbow is good bread. I have a show today that you will never forget. You will not forget it because I'm going to tell you what's happening. Spring is busting out all over. What? A dinner fashion show, Saturday, May 13th, 1989 at 6:30 p.m. at the Rose State College Student Center, located at 6420 Southeast to 15th Street. It's a fundraiser hosted by the Parent Scholarship Association of the Kimbrough Music Studio. Oh, they are going to have smoked briskets and barbecues with barbecue sauce, fried chicken. Listen to this. You can get smoked brisket and fried chicken with gravy, barbecue sauce, green beans and corn, butter and rolls, homemade peach cobbler, coffee and tea with assorted salads. Spring is busting out all over. The entertainers will be Isaac Kimbrough, the MC and vocalist. Isaac Kimbrough III, vocalist. Amara Kimbrough, vocalist. What a family. Larry Pierce, keyboard. Johan Kimbrough on the bassets. Johnny Kimbrough, the keyboard. That is going to be a show that you cannot afford to miss. Stating what you cannot afford to miss. You cannot afford to miss taking your clothes to Sherry's Cleaners, located at 4905 North Martin Luther King Avenue here in Oklahoma City. You can put your clothes in the morning and pick them up in the evening, all at Sherry's Cleaners, 4905 North Martin Luther King Avenue. Congratulations, Clara Luper, on your retirement from Dr. A.L. Dow, our optometrist located at 934 Northeast 8th Street here in Oklahoma City. Now, Dr. Dow is very concerned with what you are doing, what you are reading. Dr. Dow would like for you to do your best at all times, but you can't do your best unless you can see. And if you are having any kind of eye problem, I want you to call this number, 235-0536, and ask for Dr. A.L. Dow. Yes, it's time to bust out. Yes, it's springtime. And when I think of springtime, I think of new clothes. Would you like to have a tailor-made suit? You've never had one? Well, here's your chance. I want you to call this number, 733-7600, and ask for Sir Charles the Tailor, 6225 Southeast 15th Street, here in Oklahoma City. That's Sir Charles the Tailor, 6225 Southeast 15th Street, here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. This is the Clara Luper radio show, and this is a show that you cannot afford to miss. You cannot afford to miss it because you want to hear a different side of the story. I have invited all of you to see what's happening right under your nose. Do you know one thing for sure? You've got to understand what is happening. And to understand what is happening, I do have some news for you. Let me tell you what I'm going to have. I really want to know. I need some information from you. Next Tuesday will be a very important election. The citizens in Ward 7 will elect a council person. Now, the last council race came up as a tie. Well, that's nothing new in history. Thomas Jefferson and Aaron Burr tied in 1800, and that was really quite a day because under the Constitution of the United States, if presidential candidates do not receive, if they tie, it has to go into the House of Representatives where each state will have one vote. But what happens in a councilman race? Well, I tell you what happened. The governor calls for an election, and at the election, you have the opportunity to go and vote for whoever you want. Now, I don't know who you want, but today I'm going to give you an opportunity to call me here at 478-2103. We are going to run the most reliable poll you have ever seen. The name of this poll is the Clara Luper poll, and it is a poll. This poll could be accurate and it might not be accurate, but you, the people, will have an opportunity to speak. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and you're going to be here. And I invited both candidates to come on the KBYE Clara Luper Radio Show and tell it just like they want to tell it. I've been informed that the Gloria James camp will be sending a tape out here. Well, that's good. I'm waiting on it because I want you to hear the tape. Now, don't call me until after you've heard both sides of the story. Now, some people are saying that one candidate is being financed by a group of white people, and the other one is saying the other candidate is being financed by a group of white folks. Now, the question is, what white folks are financing the candidate? I sure would like to find some white candidates out there to finance me. I'm telling you, I would like to find them. I wouldn't question. I wouldn't ask any question. Any of you white folks out there that want to finance Clara Luper, let me know, because this is the Clara Luper Radio Show. And it is being brought to you by Rainbow Bread, by Sherry's Cleaners, by Dr. A.L. Dow, by Sir Charles Taylor, by Marilyn Hildred, your Allstate insurance agent. This is going to be a hot one. Who do you think will win it? All right, everybody's ready to go. It's now Tuesday morning. You're ready to go to the polls. Look at the clock. You can't vote until 7 a.m. Well, you can get up at 5 a.m. and be at the polls at 7 a.m. My advice to you will be to vote early. Now, someone called me and said, I don't think black people should run against black people. I don't believe that philosophy, because if that was so, white people couldn't run against white people. Anybody want to run? I say, run on, run on. But the people are going to listen to the story, and the people are going to decide exactly what they want. I can hardly wait. I want to hear the news. Now, get up and vote. Now, you got to vote from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's on Tuesday. You go and you vote. Now, there have been some talk on who can vote. Well, only the people that live in Ward 7, but the other people can talk. If you have some friends in Ward 7, all you have to do is to call them and make sure they vote. Now, it's a tragedy when people do not vote, because it took a long time to get that right to vote. And don't you abuse the right to vote. Well, speaking of the right to vote, you can vote, because I do have some good news to tell you about the Skyview Nursing Center, located at 2200 Coltrane Road, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. The telephone number is 427-1322. Now, last week was Nursing Home Week, and it was a great success. That was a balloon lift off, and it's going to be held May 10th. It's going to be on the lawn of the Skyview Nursing Center in conjunction with National Nursing Home Week. The residents will let off 75 balloons, and they will have their names and addresses on them, in hopes that someone will find the balloons and write to them. Following the balloon lift off, an old-fashioned ice cream social will be held with homemade ice cream. George Davis, Lou Ann Bowers, Monroe Fry, Jake Stanfield, and Outer House will have the opportunity of turning the crank on the ice cream makers. On Tuesday, May 11th, there will be a wheelchair race, and it will be held at the facilities. Residents George Davis, Lou Ann Bowers, Flora D. Snelson, Arthur Stone, James Shaw, Charles Johnson, Monroe Fry, Ira Hall, Hattie Blair, Perletta Billingsley, and Cleo Cobb, along with Anna Young, Paula Hunter, Earl Smith, and Susie Robinson, all will be enjoying racing the chairs. And we look forward to on Tuesday, May 11th, to that race. But listen, on May the 12th, it will be Western Day at Skyview. The men are going to be wearing cowboy hats and bandanas, and the ladies will be wearing long skirts and bonnets. Everyone will be in the mood for the Wild Wild West. Don't I sound better this week? Well, I'm older this week. My birthday was May 3rd, and it was a birthday. Henry Roth Jr. brought me another cake. I wish you could have seen that cake. That cake reminded you of a snow mountain. It was one of these old-fashioned pound cakes, and it had white icing with coconut all over, and the coconut just stood up, and the icing hugged the coconut, and then the coconut hole. Oh, it was some cake. That Henry Roth Jr. has brought me a cake for years. I never shall forget when he was a little boy. Oh, he was a college student, and he went off to Virginia, and his mother forgot to bring me my cake. Oh, I'm telling you, that was a sad day, but my cake came. Let's get back out to Skyview Nursing Center, because on Friday, May the 14th, there will be a carnival. A carnival will be held at the Nursing Center. The residents and children from Ruby and Jim's Daycare Center and Diggs Head Start Center will participate in the carnival. They are going to enjoy bingo, ring toss, ball toss, a cookie walk, and darts. This week will be one that you will always remember. Remember, Jane Crane is the owner and the administrator. Estelle Bug, the director of nursing. Sonora Major, the social activity director, newsletter. And Anna Young is a social service director. Hosea Major is a maintenance supervisor. Now, what we need to do is to remind you that if you want to make sure your people are taken care of, I want you to remember it. They have out to Skyview, and I recommend 2 nursing centers to you. And one is certainly Skyview. I'll be telling you about the other one later. Do you realize that they have a licensed nurse on all 3 shifts? They have wonderful care and good atmosphere. All you will have to do is to call. Now, if you notice, one thing that they have there is prayer time. At 8:30 in the morning, you have prayer time. Now, if you want to pray for something, don't just bother God and annoy him for a lot of little things. Ask him for a husband or a wife. Ask him for something real big. Certainly out at the nursing home at 8:30 a.m. 8:30 a.m. is prayer time. And let me tell you what else happens out there. You can have in-room visits. They have a rhythm band. They have a cart. They have puppet shows, games. Oh, that's someplace. It's no use you sitting at home by yourself. How do I sound this week? Do I sound older to you? Well, I'm older, and I had a birthday, and I want to thank all of you that sent me birthday cards, birthday flowers, and what have you. We pause now for a moment, because for some, this has been a sad week. And now we pause as Onita brings to you the death announcements.
Temple Funeral Home announces the following services. Services for Mr. Roland Trailer of Oklahoma City will be Tuesday at 11 a.m. in the chapel of the Temple Funeral Home. Funeral service for Mr. Leslie Kennedy of 901 Northeast 81st will be Thursday at 11 a.m. in the chapel of the Temple Funeral Home. Temple Funeral Home announces the services of Mrs. Viola Berry of 2200 Northeast 22nd is pending with the Temple Funeral Home. Temple Funeral Home announces the service of an infant boy strain of Oklahoma City is also pending with the Temple Funeral Home. We would like to say to the families this evening, as we extend to you our deepest sympathy, be not dismayed, whatever betide. God will take care of you. And back to Clara.
Thank you, Onita, and we would like to extend our sympathy to all of the families. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and today's show is going to be a hot one. This show will be so hot that you can't handle it. All of you that are going to Tulsa, to Miss Black Tulsa tonight, be sure and remember we will leave at 3:30. We will leave at 3:30 because we've got to get to Tulsa. We've got to get to the theater because they have 14 contestants over there, and one of them's ready to be crowned Miss Black Tulsa. That will take place tonight at 7 o'clock. And those of you that are in the Bristol and other areas, why don't you drive over to Tulsa? Mrs. Verlene Dockery is the pageant director, and she's waiting, and incidentally, I will be taking some beautiful contestants over to Tulsa. I know you wish you could be with me, because tonight at Tulsa, I will have the opportunity to see the eastern part of Oklahoma meeting the midwestern part of Oklahoma. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and this is going to be a hot one. I want you, after you have heard from both candidates, I want you to call me at 478-2103, and I want you to tell me exactly which one of these you thinking best represent you. Don't call me now. Wait until you hear. I have some questions to ask, and I know you want to know the answers. And you have a right to know the answer. You have a right to know the answer. And the candidates, it's no use of you telling me that they shouldn't be asked questions. They need to be asked questions. That's what it's all about. If you can't stand the heat, Harry Truman said, stay out of the kitchen if you can't stand the heat. Well, the Baptist Ministers Alliance of Oklahoma City will sponsor a citywide Bible conference. And incidentally, when I told you that they have sponsored that conference, and I understand it was very, very inspirational and educational. They started on May 3rd and ended May 5th. It was at the Mount Olive Baptist Church with Reverend A. Glenn Woodbury, the host pastor. The theme was Imitation to Life. The Reverend DeWitt Rowland taught classes in pastoral care, Reverend Mays in signs, Reverend Mayshak in spiritual living, Reverend Woodbury in evangelism. Those of you that attended, I'm sure you have been enriched, and I would like to congratulate Reverend T.H. Hubbard, President. One thing about Oklahoma City, we have the churches. We have the churches in this city. We also have the crime in this city. We have the crime in this city, and we have the churches. But people don't listen, and when they don't listen, that's something else. If we listen, we won't have any crime. Today, you will have the opportunity to hear two sides of a story. We will have the opportunity to hear from Gory James, his representative, and also from Willard Johnson. Now, I don't know, but I do know one thing. It's a hot one. That race is so hot until if you don't get up and go and vote, I don't know what will happen. But I do know that today we say goodbye to Amar Bernice Vance Hilliard. The services was held at the Avery Chapel AME Church here in Oklahoma City. We know one thing, and Letty will be talking to you in just a minute, that she was born in Kingfisher County, Oklahoma. We know that her father was a minister, and she was so proud of his ministerial work. And we know that she loved St. Mark AME Church with a passion, and Avery AME Church. And here is one that can talk about her, can feel her heartbeat far better than I. But one thing I knew is that Mrs. Hilliard was really a friend. Letty, will you tell me all about it?
Yes, Mrs. Luper, and thank you so very much. But I'm sure the beauticians, she was a beautician. She had her shop here in Oklahoma City, and she had many, many customers that were there to say goodbye to Bernice Hilliard. The pastor spoke well, also the reading of the Old and New Testament, which was her favorite. She loved when you were there in her shop to talk to you about the 91 Psalms. She loved to talk about Hebrews 11:1 and 11, and 30 and 40. There were many, many resolutions and remarks giving tribute to her service and the things that she had done to keep them in the line of Christianity. I was surprised to see ministers stand and said because of her life is because he was in the ministry. I know Bernice was a dedicated Christian, not only to her church, St. Mark in Kingfisher, Oklahoma, but she was also a dedicated member to Avery Chapel, where her services were held this morning at 11 o'clock a.m. The pastor spoke very well, Reverend Leota Strong. He spoke as though Paul was talking to his disciples or his followers or his Christians, because he felt that her life was one that we could follow after and pattern. But I want to say something that wasn't said at church, and I hope the radio audience is hearing it. Tomorrow is the first Sunday, and I know tomorrow will be the first Sunday that St. Mark Church, when they get ready to have their communion, they will have communion with bread that was not baked by Bernice Hildred. This was her ambition, to go back home and be home on each first Sunday because she prepared the leavening bread for the communion. And I'm sure they will miss her on tomorrow. But Leota Strong talked about faith, because this is the thing that she held so dearly to, and the thing that she so much believed, and that was in faith. And the most tremendous and the thing that I can witness is that I visited her about 2 days before she passed. And she talked freely and she talked happy. She was an independent person, and I said, let me feed Bernice, and they said, no. She's an independent person. She will feed herself, and she did. The food was put on the table, and she was rolled up, and she sat up, and she talked. And she fed herself because she was a person who was determined, and she was an independent person, even until death. Because she believed when came time for her to go, that God would take her in his silent chamber and she would sleep away. They were asked if she wanted to be put on the machine, the life machine. And she said no. Because she said when her Lord got ready for her, she wanted to be ready to go. And that she was ready to go. So as Paul pointed out, the lives of those who are seeking Christ, when it come our time to go, I hope I will be as Bernice was. I will be so wrapped up that I will say, I'm ready to go. Because she was a dedicated Christian. She was a dedicated servant. And she was a loved individual, and she was loved by many. Her brother was here to share her homegoing. And I know those Langstonites may remember her brother, Doris Vance, because he's a graduate of Langston University. And I want to say thanks to Vance that he came and stayed and made his last tribute to his sister. There were only 2 of them left, Doris and Bernice. And now that Bernice is gone, I said to Doris, keep the faith as Bernice had, and back to Clara.
Thank you, Letty. This is a Clara Luper radio show, and today I'm a year older because my birthday was May 3rd. Thank you for remembering me, all of you out in Radio Land. And Lola Greer has never forgotten me. Thank all of you. I thank you for your flowers, and I want to talk about that cake. The Roth sent me a cake. I sure wanted to save some of you a piece, but I just couldn't. That cake was out of sight. Tonight, Tulsa, Oklahoma, will select that one young lady that will represent Tulsa in the Miss Black Oklahoma pageant on June 17th. And I'm on my way. When I go off the air, I will be on my way to Tulsa. I will be surrounded with some beautiful young ladies who are going to Tulsa to meet their competition. And I have one that is just won from one of the greatest universities in the world. What is your name?
I'm Kalina Marie Nicholson.
And where are you from?
Carson, California.
And where do you attend school?
I attend school at Langston University.
Now, all of the schools, why did you select Langston University?
Because I wanted to go to a small black university to get a small student-teacher ratio, and Langston is the best.
Well, Langston is not just a black university. I was out there and I saw whites, I saw Africans, I saw people from Asia, so you're going to have to change that tune.
Well, a small, predominantly black university.
Okay, you're there at Langston University. Do you like Langston University?
Yes, I love Langston University.
What do you like about Langston University?
I love the education and the surroundings of the students.
Okay, now, they had a pageant last week. Tell me, how did you do in that pageant?
I did fantastic.
Okay, what do you mean by fantastic?
I had a great talent written by student Tyler D. Davis, and it was entitled, I Am a Black Woman. And my talent was good.
Well, I am a black woman, and I can hardly wait to hear that talent. They tell me they gave you a standing ovation. Is that true?
Yes, they did.
Now that you have won Miss Black Oklahoma, I understand that your sponsor, Miss Black Langston University, I'm sorry, you have won Miss Black Oklahoma, and you're a long ways from Miss Black Oklahoma, because June 17th will tell that story. But I understand that your sponsor gave a lawn party for you and the other contestants.
Yes, she did. Flossie Thurston.
Well, that is really commendable. I would like for you to thank her publicly, because I know some sponsors don't do that for their young ladies.
No, thank you very much, Miss Thurston. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have been able to win the pageant without your help.
Oh, yes, she helped all the girls, but she helped all the girls, but you came out the winner.
Yes.
Now you're looking awfully pretty today in your blue and your white. You're on your way to Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yes, I am.
Do you think that you have a chance? Now, be honest with me. Do you think you really have a chance to win this pageant on June 17th?
Yes, I do. I believe I have a great chance to win the pageant on June 17th.
Is it true that you brought, how many people from California up here to Langston last week to see you perform?
I brought 4.
4 from Langston. Well, how many do you think? Oh, no, they were from California and they went out to Langston. Do you think that they will be back to see you in state competition?
Yes, those 4 plus many more.
Okay, many more coming from California to see you. Now, you're on your way to Tulsa tonight. Is that right?
Yes.
What did you think about the other contestants that you saw?
The contestants that I met were real nice, and I plan to work well with them the week of the pageant and hope to get to know them very well.
Well, I am hoping to get to know you very well, and I would like to wish you a lot of success.
Thank you very much.
One more question and I'm through. Who is going to win the state pageant on June 17th?
Miss Black Langston is going to win the state pageant.
And who is that?
Kalina Marie Nicholson.
Kalina Marie Nicholson. Congratulations.
Thank you.
For saying you're going to win it. That's a good thing to say. But the proof of the pudding is in the eating. All smiles today. Who are you?
Hello, I am Jermaine Williams, Miss Black Oklahoma City.
Now, Miss Black Oklahoma City, where are you in school?
I'm attending Central State University.
Now, do you think you have a chance in the pageant?
Oh, Miss Luper, I have an excellent chance of winning and taking away the crown on June 17th.
You going to take it away?
I'm going to take it away.
Okay, you mean to tell me you're going to beat Tulsa, you're going to beat Langston University, you're going to beat Oklahoma University, Oklahoma State University? Do you really think you're going to do it?
Oh, I'm positive, Miss Luper.
Why are you so positive?
Because I project positivity.
Oh, you have to do more than project. You have to come up with your interview, your talent, your projection, your swimwear. You have a time.
That's right. All that makes a good winner, and I possess all those qualities.
Oh, you do? Well, let me
Yes.
call Langston University back. Langston, I've just heard from Oklahoma City that Oklahoma City is going to win it. What do you have to say now?
Well, I wish her the best, but Langston will take the pageant on June 17th.
What do you have to say?
I want to debate that issue. Miss Black Oklahoma City will win that pageant.
Miss Black Langston will win that pageant.
Miss Black Oklahoma City.
Miss Black Langston.
Miss Black Oklahoma City.
Miss Black Langston.
I just want all of you to remember the name of Jermaine Williams, Miss Black Oklahoma City, because I will be your next Miss Black Oklahoma.
Mrs. Hunter's all smiles here. What do you think?
Sure. This is what I'm going to say, Mrs. Luper. Come June the 17th, the story will be told. Who will be Miss Black Oklahoma and who will not be Miss Black Oklahoma. So that will determine on June the 17th. Will determine
Miss Hunter, I want to say that Miss Black Oklahoma City, Miss Black Langston is very beautiful, but unfortunately, I will be the next Miss Black Oklahoma.
No, Miss Black Oklahoma City. It's Miss Black Langston that's going to win. I wish you the best, but I'm sorry. The best will come up.
Well, we can argue about this for days, but I think, like Miss Hunter said, the proof, and Miss Luper, the proof will be in the pudding on June 17th at the Myriad. I hope that all of you will reserve that date, and please come out and support the contestants, and also look at some positive things that the beautiful black women of the state of Oklahoma are doing.
Please come out and attend the pageant on June 17th.
Okay, well, one thing about it, whoever wins, let me tell you what will happen. They win over $5,000 in prizes, gifts, and trips. They will immediately go to the NAACP National Convention in Detroit. Then they will come back and fly to Indianapolis, Indiana to compete with all of the young ladies from all over the United States. The time has come now for Gordon's Grocery, to one of our sponsors, to give you those specials, and then we're going into that big race, James versus Johnson, the two J's.
Gordon's Grocery, located at 2121 South Portland, has the following specials for this week. A 20-pound all-purpose bag of potatoes for $2.49, and a family-sized package of pork steak, $1.39. And that's at Gordon's Grocery, 2121 South Portland. Is on staff, and those specials again are 20-pound bag of all-purpose potatoes, $2.49, and a family-sized package of pork steak, $1.39.
Thank you, Shelley, and thank you to Gordon's. And not only that, we would like to thank Gordon's for being one of the sponsors of the Clara Luper radio show, the show that makes it happen. And it happened. You just heard. Tonight we are going to hear nothing but Tulsa. The state NAACP is meeting here in Oklahoma City today, and I've just left the state NAACP meeting, and they say that Tulsa's going to take it away. They tell me that pageant at Tulsa today is the best thing that has ever happened. Those of you that took out NAACP memberships, many of you have called and said, where's my membership? Well, we have mail memberships. We have called you, but we have some people we cannot find. Quincy Brown, Willetta Davis, Misha Austin, Lee Susan Swift, Danelle Davis, Bobby McCarty, James Beals, Sonia Killam, Clarissa Smith, Wally Lumpkins, Mitzi McKeevy, Krishna Johnson, Sonia Killam. Now, and we have more than that. If you haven't gotten your membership, why don't you call us? The NAACP Youth Council will be meeting Monday night at exactly 7 o'clock, and you are invited to come in. We need you. We need your brains, and most of all, you are all part of the NAACP. Somebody called me and asked me if I still work with the NAACP. Of course I work with the NAACP, don't you? I'd be ashamed to be black and wasn't a member of the NAACP. I wouldn't tell anybody. We come now to some very serious moments for this community, and especially in Ward 7, because the people in Ward 7 will have to determine which one of these individuals will represent them for the next few years. The question will be two J's, one for James and the other one for Johnson. I have invited both candidates to come out and talk directly to you. And I have two people. Oh, I have some people. I have a representative from the James's camp who's in and who has brought a tape that you will hear in a few minutes. And I have a representative from the Johnson's camp. Johnson, we have had two President Johnsons. One was impeached. Impeachment charges were brought up against him, and incidentally, he won his office by one vote. And then we had the tall man from Texas, Lyndon Johnson, as president. But now I understand that we have a Willa Johnson that's running for the city council. What is your name, please?
My name is Barbara J. Newton Moss.
Barbara J. Newton Moss. Barbara, you have been in Oklahoma City a long time, and I've seen you in so many places, and I just respect you so much. But now you're wearing that big yellow and black. Who are you for councilman? Incidentally, the following is a paid political announcement paid for by the friends of Willa Johnson. Those of you out in Radio Land, if you would like to pay for some advertising for your friend, all you have to do is call us 478-2103. Now, what is that last name again?
Moss.
Moss. Now, Moss, who are you supporting for the city council?
I am supporting Willa Johnson.
You're supporting Willa Johnson?
That's right.
Well, look, I have some questions I want to ask you about Willa. The first question, why do you think Willa is really running for the city council?
Willa is running for city councilman to upgrade and improve Ward 7, to serve the people in an humble way, to fulfill the needs of our community, to hear the people, to listen. We can't fulfill everybody's promise, but we're going to do our best to meet the needs of the people in Ward 7.
I have been reading and listening and looking, and I see she has a lot of campaign materials out. How in the world did she get so many people to support her? And these are people that have previously supported Reverend Gloria James.
Willa Johnson grew up in this community. She and I were children in St. John Missionary Baptist Church. People who have endorsed her have worked with him for the last 12 years. But we all feel like there is a change that is needed. We need a hard-working, humble, honest person who can do for this community what needs to be done for the needs of the people.
Why do you feel that Willa Johnson knows more about the needs of this community than Reverend Gloria James, who has served this community for 12 years?
Clara, Willa grew up in the community. Also, being a part of the community makes you a part of city government. And if you are aware of where you are and what you've done from day to day, then you are capable and able to serve in a responsible position.
Now, you have told me that Willa Johnson is humble. Are you implying that Gloria James is not humble?
Speaking from the people who we have talked with, a lot of them say that they go down to City Hall and he is very arrogant with them. We want someone who can listen to all levels of people. Matters not how poor you are, matters not how much money you have, matters not what your status is in the community.
Oh, so you are really implying that Gloria James listens to some people and some people he doesn't.
Correct.
Oh, you are implying that. Now, I've also heard that E.K. Gaylord is supporting her, and I need to talk to her because I sure would like for E.K. Gaylord to support us. I remember when he used to give scholarships over here, but that time, that was his father. How in the world did she get, if she did now, I'm not saying that she did. She has. I'm not saying that. That's what you all are saying, because I have seen no cash exchange between E.K. Gaylord and Willa Johnson. But why are the people saying that E.K. Gaylord is supporting her?
E.K. Gaylord is editor and owner of the Daily Oklahomian.
And everything else.
E.K. Gaylord is just a means of advertisement. In politics, you use all the avenues available to get the word out to the people. Everybody do not read the Chronicle. I don't. But I invite and ask all of you to read St. John, the 8th chapter, 1 through the 11th verse. I ask each of you to read this because sometimes we can be on the wrong, we read certain articles and maybe our minds get twisted, but Reverend James and Mrs. Willa Johnson both read the same Bible, and the Bible tells us the same thing. I invite you again to read, and the owner of the Chronicle.
Okay, you inviting me to read what?
John, the 8th chapter, 1 through the 11th verse.
Why do you want me to read that?
Read it, Clara.
Okay, I'm gonna read
it to you.
Okay, I want somebody to call me quickly. I need to read what?
John, the 8th chapter, 1 through the 11th verse.
Well, a Bible just appeared to me. I'm going to sure read it. That's John, the what chapter now?
8th chapter, 1 through the 11th verse.
Okay, well, I'm going to sure read it. In the meantime...
And it tells you there that no man is without criticism. No man is without sin.
Oh, I see what happened here. I see what happened here. You're saying, okay, as I read it, oh yes, I'm very familiar with this story. This is a story where a bunch of men brought a woman to Jesus. And when they brought her there, they were talking about what she had done, and Jesus started writing. Wonder what did he write? I bet he wrote and said, how do you know she was committing adultery? It takes two. And that's when the men ran. That's some story. And then Letty, the Methodist coming in. Now, Letty, what did you say? He wrote what now? Here's a Methodist.
Ye without sin, cast the first stone. And
Okay.
all of the fellows left.
Okay, now as I read this, are you implying that Gory James has accepted money from the white community too?
I can't speak for Mr. James's campaign at all.
Oh, you can't speak for him?
No.
Okay, certainly he will. If I know Gory, he'll speak for himself. All right. Now, you're saying for me to read John, and fortunately, I have read John. You say go where now? How many verses shall I read?
1 through 11.
Okay, well, I'm going to read number 10. Jesus stood up again and said to her, where are your accusers? Didn't even one of them condemn you? And the woman looked up and she said, no, sir. No, sir. So if Willa Johnson can get E.K. Gaylord to support her on an issue, now I'm saying if, because I know one thing E.K. Gaylord supports, and that's Oklahoma Christian College. I know that because I was out there and I saw that. But let me get back to you. Now, you say Willa is a member of what church?
St. John Missionary Baptist Church.
Is St. John supporting her?
Pastor Jackson and the St. John Missionary Baptist Church is supporting Willa Dean.
Now, you are telling me
we
that...
are a family.
Oh, you are a family at St. John, and Reverend Jackson is supporting Willa in place of a fellow co-minister?
We have supported each member of the church which have entered a campaign.
Oh, I see. Who are some of your members that have entered campaigns?
Kevin Cox, Vicky Miles.
Okay, so when a member of your church enter a campaign, they get the support.
We are a family.
Okay, you sound just like Reverend Jackson and that bunch. Do you still believe that's the best church on this side of, what do you call it?
Judgment.
On this side of judgment. That's one thing, that's what you're saying. Now, you're saying that if Willa Johnson is elected, and I notice he's been endorsed by all of these people, how did you get all of these endorsements?
Willa Dean is very well known in the community. Willa Dean have worked in many, many organizations.
For example?
In the community. She has been co-chairman of Precinct 169 of the Oklahoma County Democratic Party, a director and chairman of the Action Audit Committee, Metro YWCA, member of the Urban League and Urban League Guild, dispute mediator of the Neighborhood Services Organization, co-chairman of the Special Olympics at Tinker Air Force Base, governor's appointee Martin Luther King Commission, chairman of the Northeast Lioness Club, a director of the Black Liberated Arts Center, 1988 nominee Who's Who Among International Women.
Okay, now she has been in all of those organizations. And now let's get down to business. What do you want the people to do?
I would like for the people to go out Tuesday, May the 9th, and cast a vote for Willa Johnson, and for many of us who know her as Willa Dean.
All right, now many people don't have rides, and they don't have any gas to make it.
We will pick you up and take you to the polls if you call the Willa Johnson headquarters, which is 235 Willa.
Will you repeat that again?
235 Willa.
Where is the headquarters located?
The headquarters is located on Northeast 36 and Lincoln.
Do you have a headquarters all by yourself?
Yes.
You have a headquarters all by yourself. Well, Gory James has one all by himself right on 23rd and Kelly.
I didn't know it.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. Let's see. I hope I have it right. But you know, Clara's getting older now. I had her birthday. So if I make any mistakes today, I know you will forgive me. I used to talk about old people, but I won't talk about old people no more because I have arrived at that old age. Now, those of you that's getting old, why don't you rejoice with me? Let's form us an old folks club. Well, I had to let you rest for a minute because I want you out in Radio Land to call me. Help me out on this campaign. 4782103, and I want you to tell me what you know about Gory James and what you know about Willa. Which one do you think the most intelligent radio audience in Oklahoma would make the best council person? Now let's get back here to Mrs. Moss. Mrs. Moss, I want to know, are you conducting a clean campaign?
Clara, I first would like to impress and let everyone in the Radio Land know that our aim, the Willa Johnson campaign, is to run a clean campaign, an honest campaign. We're not interested in tearing down, not to do any mudslinging during this election. We all live in the community. We all want to remain friends after Tuesday, May the 9th. We only want a vote for Willa Dean Johnson, May the 9th. For city council.
You want a vote. Now, that's all you want, a vote. But tell the people what time they can vote, because so many times people wish you good luck and won't show.
You may vote Tuesday morning from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. We will be happy to carry you to the polls with a ride. If you will call 235-WILLA, we will pick you up and carry you to the polls.
All right, now, I want to know one thing. Will this be a clean vote? Now, will we go back into accusations and all of that? You're accusing somebody of not voting correctly, or people voting out of their precinct. What will it be like?
We want everyone to be honest, to be above board, and we will be watching that day because we want to win. We've worked very hard, and I'm sure that the people who will vote will be honest about their vote on Tuesday.
Well, what I want to do is to hear from Gory James. Now, the following has been a paid political announcement. Paid for by whom?
Willa Johnson campaign.
Willie Johnson campaign workers. Now, if you notice, she said workers, and one thing about it, they've got to file and see who gave them the money. That's required. And I can hardly wait, and I will let you know. In the meantime, we switch now to the James's campaign, and we hope, I want to make sure they are ready, and Shelley, check it out and see if the James campaign is all ready to go. In the meantime, you want to know and you want to hear it, and if you hear it on the Clara Luper radio show, you hear it because these people cared enough about you to come out. This is the Clara Luper radio show, and the following is a paid political announcement. Oh, they say they aren't ready. I do hope. I know you're waiting. I know you can hardly wait. You can hardly wait because you want to hear from the Gory James campaign and see what Gory James is talking about. In the meantime, I don't want you to make up your mind until you have heard both sides of it. But in order to keep the record straight today, we need to be thinking about who will make the best councilman and why. Council person, because Willa Johnson. Have we ever had a female councilwoman? Well, the answer is very simple. You answered because this is your town. I'm from Hoffman, Oklahoma, and we don't have the kind of government that you all have. We don't have it. And I really received something nice for my birthday. I received the nicest present you ever want to. I'm not going to tell you who all gave me present, but I'm going to tell you one thing. I have the nicest present you ever wanted to see. It's on a board, and it's a little outdoor toilet. It is out of sight. It has two toilet stools on it. Well, one thing about it, I hope that you are listening out in Radio Land because this is my birthday. And Shelley, I have something to ask you. I know you are all smiles, but last night you were crying. Tell the radio audience what you have.
I received a dog.
You received a dog. What kind of dog do you have?
A chow.
Okay, what happened to your dog last night?
It was missing.
Your dog was missing, and what were you doing when your dog was missing?
I was looking for it.
Oh, you were crying like a baby. Shelley is just a big old baby. And just think in a few days she will be a junior. The next minutes are paid for by friends of Gory James. After you have heard from Gory James, I would like for you to call me if you aren't scared, because they tell me this is a hot race. It might be too hot for you to handle, but here it is.
Civil rights attorney here in Oklahoma City. The upcoming May 9th City Council election for Ward 7 is more critical than any election that has been held in the Northeast Quadrant. There has been a well-calculated plan, not only in Oklahoma, but throughout this country, to split the black vote in under or low-populated white areas for districts. Ward 7 is predominantly black, yet we are faced with a runoff election not because of the majority black vote, but because of the majority white vote. Gory James won in every majority black precinct in the last election, but lost badly in the 2 or 3 white precincts, which caused this election to wind up in a tie. W.K. Jackson, Willie B. Parker, Melvin Porter, Arsenio Johnson, and others all know what this election is all about. They know that Gory James is a man that will take a stand and stand up to the white power structure. And that is why North, the Daily Oklahoman, and others went out after him. Yet W.K., Parker, Porter, and my good friend Arsenio would rather divide this community by not speaking up rather than lay aside their vendetta with Russell Perry and the Black Chronicle. They have no real fight with Gory James. It's their hate or dislike the Chronicle. Well, I cannot and will not sell out those principles that brought my grandfather out of bondage just because I do not like another black man. I've had my differences with the Chronicle too, but I cannot be aligned with a white political structure that seeks to punish me and my kind for standing up and being a man. I ask that you reach back to the yesteryears of our grandfathers and pull up togetherness. And when you do so, you will be securing the banks of freedom for our children and their unborn. Send a message on May 9th of unity. And I ask you to cast your vote for Reverend Gory James. Thank you. This has been a paid political announcement.
That announcement was made by attorney Louis Barber on behalf of Reverend Gory James. That was a paid political announcement. I would like for you to call me if you aren't scared to tell me who you're for. You don't give me your name, just call me at 478-2103. I will have a 5-minute poll. You can come out from under your closets now. Don't tell me your name, just come out and take a stand. A lot of you are grinning out there saying you're for some people, and then you're talking out of 2 sides of your mouth. Why don't you tell us in the meantime? It's a pleasure today for me to tell you about Terrace Garden Nursing Home located at 1921 Northeast 21st Street. At Terrace Garden, you can receive professional service on a first-class basis. At Terrace Garden Nursing Home, 1921 Northeast 21st Street, they have a full-time program outlined for you. They are on the case. The votes are coming in. Terrace Garden Nursing Home, 1921 Northeast 21st Street, here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. That's a Terrace Garden Nursing Home, 424-1449. 424-1449. That's a Terrace Garden. That's a Terrace Garden Nursing Home. Or the telephone is ringing. We are wondering how it's coming out. And in the meantime, I would like to thank all of you. And Letty, I want to thank you for your support of that retirement dinner. And I want you to tell me about it.
Yes, Mrs. Luper, while they're answering the telephone and getting all these tabulations that's coming in, they're coming in so fast they can't keep up with all of them. But I wanted to tell my radio audience, remember May the 27th, 1989 at the Regency Inn. Now, you only have 2 more Saturdays before the occasion is going to happen. This is one of the greatest things that's ever happened in Oklahoma City on May the 27th, 1989. Now, if you're not there at the Regency Inn that night, don't ask me what happened, because I'm not going to tell you, and I'm going to tell everybody else there did not tell you. So if you want to know, come on out on May the 27th, 1989 to the Regency Inn. Now, we know this is when we're going to have a retirement affair for Clara Luper. On next week, and I'm sure we'll be calling you from time to time and day to day, asking you what are you going to do, what contributions do you want to make, etc. So I'm going to be looking for you out at the Regency Inn, May the 27th, 1989, to the Clara Luper's retirement dinner.
Today's program is being brought to you by Allstate Insurance Company as executive agent of Marilyn Hildred. If you need some insurance, why in the world don't you call Marilyn? The telephone number is 848-7470. Be sure and call. This is a tight race, and this is a 5 minutes. We have only 4 minutes left. It's all, how is it going? Come here, and tell me, how is it going? How do you think it's going?
It's going really well. So far, it's a tie.
It's a tie between Dory James and Willa Johnson. This is a hot one. I told you it was too hot to handle, but we're going to handle it anyway. And incidentally, it's a tie now, and it was a tie when they voted some weeks ago. They broke all history. What will happen this time if it's a tie? Well, every vote counts, and your vote certainly counts. Tomorrow, we will know who Miss Black Tulsa is, and we will be calling upon you to get your tickets. And those of you that would like to advertise in Miss Black, Oklahoma, give me a call, 424-3949. Let's get behind our contestants from all over the state. Don't forget that big dinner and fashion show Saturday, May 13, 1989. And that today's show, though, you've got to stop and you've got to realize that if it were not for the Kimbrough Music Studio, you would not get to hear the Clara Luper Radio Show. They are one of our sponsors, and they are professional people located at 820 Northeast 19th Street. The telephone number, 424-5055, 424-5080. Well, the telephone's waiting on you to call. We want to see, because we want to run this Clara Luper's poll. I know so many of you are afraid to come out. Are you afraid? Are you on both sides? Will this end up to be a Methodist Baptist thing? I don't know. I know Dory James is a CME Methodist, and Willa Johnson is one of those St. John Baptists, and they say they are the best church on this side of heaven. Now, of judgment. Well, judgment. What is it? Is it judgment or heaven? Well, I don't understand what judgment means, but I do know that this is the Clara Luper Radio Show. On next week, I do hope that the winning council person, whoever that is, will be my distinguished guest. And after this campaign is over, I hope the curtains will come down and you can do like brothers and sisters. The two candidates will walk together. One will congratulate the other, because we have some grave problems in this community. We have some grave problems, and we don't have time to spend it on what used to be. A time has come for black people to grow up politically, to realize that every person has the right to run. Every person has that right, and that's been guaranteed by the Constitution of the United States and been seasoned by the blood of black people that have died all over this world for the cause of freedom. That's a right. And I would like to congratulate both Dory and Willa for being able to mobilize white support. We need whites not only to support us politically, but we need them to become a vital part of this community. Could I speak a minute to that person that called? I would like to have that last person. This is Clara Luper. Hello? Oh, well. Hello?
Miss Luper?
Yes.
May I speak to Shelley?
Oh, excuse me. Guess what? I thought that person was going to talk about politics, and that person wants to speak to Shelley. Call Shelley back, 424-39. Call Shelley back. Shelley's on her way home. In the meantime, we have some serious problems in this community. We live in a community that could well become the most beautiful community in Oklahoma City. We have that responsibility. And when you go to the polls to vote on Tuesday, you be sure and vote. You've heard both sides of the story. You will make your decision. In the meantime, this is Clara Luper saying, hello, Tulsa, here I come. And until next week at 2 o'clock, just remember to stay away from drugs, stay away from something that you can't control. And look at your hands and say, with these hands, I will not steal anything from anybody. I'm not going to steal your car and your hubcaps. I'm not going to steal, and you better not steal my outdoor toilet. This is Clara Luper saying bye-bye, and I do love you.
This is 890 AM in Oklahoma City, KBYE, your Christian radio voice.